I'm Jackie.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome to the Witching Hour. Did you forget?
No, I was fine.
You're fine.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm good.
Good.
What is the Witching Hour?
The Witching Hour is where we do a short little witchy quickie, to borrow Jackie's terminology, where we give you kind of a big topic, but we shorten it down to little small bites, and we have a little sip along with it.
Yes, right, correct. And this is so cute. It's called Scout Wild by Scout and Cellar.
It's cute.
Sauvignon Blanc, California. It's so pretty. It's like very simple and very pretty.
It has like a little botanical label.
Okay.
I love how I just say my thing and then I'm like, okay, ready?
Yes, I know. She's like,
Please, can I have some more? Yes. Just immediately ready. Just pour it.
Okay, let's
And
give it a little
here's
taste.
the point in the Witching Hour in which Jackie talks about wine and I pretend like I know what she's saying.
Let's see.
Because I know nothing and I'm a brute.
Brute. That was amazing.
Brute.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. This is not floral, fruity forward the way some of the other ones. It's a little bit lemony, like sour,
It smells like cheese.
but in a nice way. It's very minerally.
It's like cheese-ish. It's
Not sure about that. Says right here, cheese. I'm just
Damn it. I would have been so happy.
It doesn't really say,
Damn.
but
Why doesn't it tell you?
I don't know. It just gives you information. Independently tested to meet our standards, sustainably grown, healthy soil, delicious grapes.
How do we know what their standards are?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. It's different. It's not sweet, which Sauvignon Blancs are usually not sweet. But I feel like it's got a little sourness. I understand what you're saying about the cheese. Not really, but it's got like sort of a sour, I would say like a lemon or like those like sour grapes. Like there's those grapes that are
Oh, yeah. Or like kind of like a sour beer.
and it's very minerally.
That's probably what the cheese is.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's definitely interesting. I could see that being really good with cheese.
We should have had cheese.
I'll get some in the house later.
Okay, well, we'll have some cheese.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a two-parter of a Witching Hour.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit of a two-parter.
Yes, well, it actually is a two-parter.
It's not a little bit of one.
Yeah, it actually is one. So we're going to talk about the phases of the moon.
Yeah.
Because I think this is something that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
We just want to define what those are. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the new moon and the first quarter moon.
Yeah, it does come up a lot because people are like, I feel like that's an easy gateway thing, right? Like, okay,
Yes.
well, let me just focus on the moon, and maybe if I pay attention to that, then I can get into other stuff, and that's absolutely a great idea.
And it's also pretty easy to pay attention to the moon because it's really easy to see. I mean, unless it's cloudy, whatever. But it's easy to see. It's easy to look up. Like if you just buy a standard wall calendar, it usually has, new moon, full moon, and the quarter moons listed on the dates so you can see it easily.
Yeah.
But so the new moon is when?
New moon is when the illuminated, I almost said Illuminati, which
No, that's a different episode.
is interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in another one. Illuminated side of the moon is facing the sun, and so the dark side of it is facing us. So it's like invisible. I mean, it's not really like fully invisible, but it's really difficult to see.
Yeah, and it's because the light from the sun is not reflecting and bouncing back off of the moon.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's in between.
Exactly.
So it's kind of,
Yeah, and it's rising and setting with the sun when it's in that phase.
Exactly. So it's like they're aligned.
Yes.
It's an alignment where we will contrast a conjunction is what a full moon is.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So if you are born with the same sun and the same moon sign, that means you were born during a new moon.
Yeah. Which you were.
Which I was.
And that's such a great moon.
Yes.
Yes, it's a good moon. It's one of our favorites. And so that's what it is. But then sometimes people ask, okay, well, what do I do with that information?
Yeah, so I think what it really means is it's a beginning. It's the new moon. So it's the beginning of the moon phase cycle.
Yes.
And so there's also, right up against that beginning is the end of the previous moon cycle. So sometimes that's called the dark moon, and it's sort of differentiated as the end of the cycle. But they're right next to each other. And some people you can't tell when one starts and the other one, or one ends and the other one starts.
True.
But, so that being said, the new moon is a time to bring about your intentions or your manifestations for the month, to sort of plant the seeds and see what you want to grow.
Yep. What do you want to manifest?
Yeah.
And focusing. And it tends to be kind of a more solitary moon period. It's a lot of inner work. It's a lot of stuff on your own. I think we respond to it because of kind of the darkness and kind of that cloak and like, okay, we can just kind of, right? That's how I feel about it.
Yes, cloak. I like that. Yeah. And like also sometimes like things are still hidden or unknown to you at that time.
Yes.
And so it's like that sort of, they're underneath the darkness. They're not revealed yet.
I like that too, because yes, like it's dark to us that we can see, but the light is still there. It's just on the other side. So it's coming. So it's kind of like that thing, like you don't know yet, but you're planting those seeds to see what's coming.
So then what happens as the phases progress is we get more and more of the moon being lit up with that, reflecting back the illumination from the sun.
Yeah.
And we get to what is marked as the first quarter moon. This is also called a waxing moon period. So this is when it's getting bigger in the sense of the part that's lit up that you can actually
It's getting bigger. Yeah.
Yes. So the first quarter moon is when it's actually halfway lit up.
Yeah. And sometimes people are like, well, then why is it called a quarter moon? Because it's half of the half that's lit up.
Exactly.
So it's a quarter.
Yes.
It's like bizarre. And before I knew that, I was really confused about that too. And was like, I don't do math and I don't understand this. But it's half of the half. So that's why they call it that. Yeah. So you see half of its illuminated side. And usually with that moon, it rises around 12 noon and then it sets around midnight.
Yes, because it's like halfway, so it's got like the 12-hour period.
Yeah.
So, and the first quarter moon is kind of a time to, I think, still check in with yourself.
Yes.
Check in on any progress on anything that you've been like thinking about.
Yeah.
And, you're not really in this fully illuminated phase yet, which is, shortly coming. And it's usually about a week or a week to 10 days after the new moon.
Yeah.
Because this is like a 28-day cycle. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a good pause moment, right? Good pause phase. Like, let me kind of like revise things that I may have thought of during the new moon if I need to. And just check in with myself, see how I'm feeling about it, see if I need to kind of change things. I love a first quarter moon. I'm a first quarter moon girl. I've mentioned that before.
You have mentioned that before. So I think that's the very, very basics of that. And depending on what signs this is all happening in and different things, we can get into more of that at another time. But that's all I have time for today.
Same. Cheers.
Cheers.